This good.
They're live.
Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So you make a motion. What? Oh, okay. You may be seated. We do have a quorum. We'll make a motion, or we'll say that Jamie Roushey and Helen Macho are not here. Minutes from the previous meeting. I believe you each have a copy of those. I did not see anything wrong with those. So I will I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Yeah. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, passes. Claims. All that you talked about.
Yeah, claims this month are fairly straightforward. Docket is $164,572.47. The non-docket item is $5,017.04. The claim that's inside there that has a typewritten claim number up the top or check, yeah, that one will need to be signed individually. That's the 5,017.14.
I'll make a motion.
Motion from Angelica to approve the docket and the non-docket. I'll second. Second from Joe. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes.
Yeah. It wasn't intended to be a cryptic email that the police had to call me and tell me that I hadn't put the attachment on the first one, but I did. As you remember, the 2025 TIF spending plan had dollars in it that were for public safety types of equipment. Yeah, Chief Brad Kramer here tonight to discuss 3 quotes. 2 of them, folding training mats, the gloves, pads, and guards for training. Those were, I included those dollar amounts. The radios, I did not include in the email that I sent you because it was going to be a little bit confusing trying to explain that there's a maximum that the police department is going to request from you not to exceed, but that maximum can actually be reduced based on other potential funding streams that are out. So with that, unless there are any questions for me, I'll turn it over to Chief Kramer.
Thank you, guys. So the handout that I've got here for you, if you want to follow along with it. So the quote that should be attached to you guys that you guys should have been able to see was for 14 APX N70 radios, which are single band radios. And then those are what we carry on us. And then we've got 3 APX 8500s, which are dual band radios in the car. So there's 2 different types of radios attached with this quote. The total price for that is $167,116.84. Earlier this year, I was approached by an individual in our community that asked if we had anything that they could dedicate some money towards. Told them we had a couple projects, big ones that we're going to have to be, working on this year. This being one of those, they wrote the police department a $10,000 donation. So kind of take that off of there. And then I submitted a grant through Du Bois County RDC. Did get partial of that, which was totaled to be $2,500. I completed another grant. I'm waiting to hear on it through Norfolk Southern for $15,000. I should be finding out about that one. I'm hoping either this month or the beginning of next. And then I also submitted a grant for $36,068.16 through the Being for Others. So at the time I submitted that grant, was prior to me getting this finalized, and that was supposed to be the total for 4 handheld radios. So the price went up a little bit, on the individual radios. So those are 2 potential funding streams that we could still be getting. I'm waiting to hear the Being for Others grant, which is the 36,000 some, I think is in October, is whenever they make that announcement. So the total money requested today, without those other 2 grants, the 15,000 and the 36,000 and some, basically the not to exceed would be 155. If you take the 12,500 off, the total price would be 154,616 $84. And that's if we don't get any of those other 2 grants. There is a possibility that we will be partially funded for both of those. So I'm hoping for the full thing, but you know how that works.
Yeah. Totally understand.
So if we do end up getting all of that requested, the total amount would be $103,548.68.
Instead of the 155, not to
Correct.
155.
Yeah.
And the chief did speak with Tom Dipple. He and I, after the chief and I spoke, I suggested you sit down with Tom Dipple and talk about it to make sure that the money was there and that everything would be covered. And Tom confirmed that yes, it is.
Yeah. And just a little bit more on these current radios that we're handling. We've had them since 2015-ish. We had a few of them. We started to roll more in. So over the course of about 2 to 3 years, we finally outfitted everybody. The current radio that John's got on him right now, to replace that exact radio with the newly updated, the cat's meow for that, is about 12 grand. Just per radio. So that's why in the beginning, whenever I said the single band radio, these are going to be strictly 800 radios. We will not have the VHF capabilities on those radios. But if you remember, we talked about the 800 repeater. This will communicate with that, which will then in turn be able to communicate with our dispatch center if the state system goes down.
Gotcha.
So we'll still have connectivity if that system does go down and we have that system in place. Just on these new radios as well, we currently don't have Wi-Fi on our radios, and the new radios will have Wi-Fi. And then they also have an option on there to bring your own SIM, which we could make them an LTE radio, which that's going to be down the road. Because there's going to be features coming out in the near future that use the LTE version or side of it. So there's different capabilities with it with the LTE, but at this point in time right now, we're not concerned about those capabilities because they're not even active right now. Other than just being able to communicate from Florida to our dispatch center. Brad Beekler, he could get from New York to our dispatch center on LTE. So just stuff like that. And I mean, I don't need that capability at this time. We don't, but with the Wi-Fi, it would help with connectivity in larger buildings, such as our schools. There are dead zones in there. We would be able to upload that Wi-Fi signal in there, the password and everything. So whenever we lose signal on our regular side of connection, then we will then pick up the Wi-Fi.
So you'd be picking up the Wi-Fi from the home.
Yeah, like if we went into the school at that
Pick up
time,
their Wi-Fi.
then we
Okay.
can pick up their Wi-Fi.
Now, do you have to know what their password is before that you can do that? Will that be in ahead of time or will it?
It'll be programmed as soon as we get them.
Okay.
Whenever they come in, Brad will do the programming. And he's got, I think you can have 12 different Wi-Fi channels in there. So we will most likely load those up with everything that we have available to us. And the school is definitely one of those. So I mean, there's some larger buildings too with like OFS. That we'll get that connectivity as well. as long as they allow us to. So I can't imagine them denying it if we don't have it, if Beak doesn't have it ready. But yeah. So yeah, but the single band radios, I mean, they're about 8,500, 9,000, whenever it comes down to it. So to try to cut costs on our end, to try to spread, the money out on different projects. Trying to be resourceful with that, respectful of the money, so.
And this would cover you for all officers, right?
Correct, we do have one radio that's already has the connectivity, which is our SRO. Because it's important that he can be able to speak, to our dispatch center from inside the school. So we would be replacing all 14 radios that we have currently on the road. Those radios, we are going to work out something with the fire department, to where we allow them to use our old radios. So we're not just gonna set these on the shelf and they're just, whatever.
Yeah.
At least we can still use them, especially once we get that repeater system in. Now, if they break, they're gonna have to be sent to some third party because they're not supported anymore. And if it's not fixable, then it ain't fixable.
Yeah, so that's an important thing to know is that they've essentially reached end of life.
Correct.
They're not, it's kind of like the Windows 10 versus Windows 11.
Yeah, you can,
Middle of October, they're not going to support Windows 10 anymore.
yeah,
Similar situation here.
correct. Yeah, I mean, you can still buy batteries for them. You could still, like Brad, he can still program to whatever he wants. At the fire department, so they're still usable as long as they're functioning. In some of our cases, we can't rely on that aspect of it because we don't have a lot of backup. So we need something that's gonna be supported and, if we send it in, we need it back quickly.
Exactly. So the ability to extend at least the useful life of them
Yeah,
for another department for a period of time is a great thing.
yeah. And then, but yeah. Any questions?
Do you have any further questions?
If you guys have something coming.
Probably ought to do them individually. Or if you want to do them in an amount not to exceed for the radios, the training mats, gloves, pads, and guards for training. That is 158,223.15. I would suggest making it 158.5.
Okay.
Just to cover any incremental.
I will make a motion to make it 158.5 to cover the cost of the radios, the mats, and gloves, pads, and guards for training.
I'll say it.
And then I'll touch on the gloves, pads and the mats too, just to let you guys know what they're for. So part of our curriculum to maintain our certificate, we have to have 4 hours of physical tactics training every year. This would allow us to be more practical in our training. We would be able to go more hands-on, a little bit more force, to where people can actually feel what it feels like getting hit in the face. Because the last thing you want is to be in the fight for your life and to get hit in the face and you're just like, oh boy, that's what it feels like. So, but yeah, that's what the gloves are for. The shin guards, so we can kick. The headgear, which I don't know if you've seen any amateur boxing, they have that stuff. The belly pad, which would obviously go around your midsection, and then thigh guards. So, but yeah, it would just allow us to train a lot more efficient and better, more practical. Missing anything.
No, that's the whole point of it, so.
Yeah.
Instead of just striking bags, striking an actual person, but being able to do it in a safe manner where we're not increasing the risk of injury. That's really the whole point of it.
And then as far as the mats, I think they're self-explanatory, they're landing mats, they're thicker than what we use, which would be the wrestling mats out at the school. A lot more cushion, a lot harder takedowns we could perform, without hurting one of our own.
That's something to the station, so the station, or you have to go somewhere else to.
No, so we use the wrestling room up at the school or the mezzanine up top.
Yeah.
the cheerleading mats that are up there, so. But yeah, we're hopeful to get a mat or two from that they retire.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get our own space and don't have to bother them too much more with that, but. Any questions on any of it?
Do we need to change our motion or we want to leave it the way it is? Because I think we just covering all that.
I think you're okay on 58.5, that covers all three of the. Now, when will you be ordering? I know on the radios, you've got to kind of wait until you know what the other grants are, they're coming in. Whether they've been approved and if so what, Matt, would you anticipate ordering?
So the radios, they take approximately 3 months to come in.
Yes.
Just because there's such a demand for them. As far, they don't bill until we receive. So we wouldn't get that bill until say December. If I ordered, or mid-December probably. Beginning of December, if at the earliest, probably 2.5 months. So if I went ahead and ordered tomorrow, that's when I would expect the bill.
I would assume since we've already covered that no matter what, probably on it.
Yeah, if we get to your December meeting and they haven't got anything yet, I'll sit down with you and Tom just to make sure that we've got it set up to. Whether it needs to be encumbered correctly or whatever, how we do that to make sure the
Yeah.
dollars roll over into.
And I did talk to Tom about that the other day,
Okay, so
how to do that, so as long as we are on track. But in a
as
contract,
long as you've accepted the,
yes,
Okay.
as long as you guys have approved it. And we have signed it, sent it, and it's ordered, basically, we just are waiting on it, everything's fine.
Good.
He doesn't have to do anything with that aspect of it, so.
With that being said, let's take a vote. Those in favor of the radios, pads, and the other products. Aye. Opposed?
Thank you, guys.
Sorry about that. Ahead of ourselves a little bit.
yeah,
Rescheduling October meeting?
yeah,
Yeah.
your normal meeting would be on October 21st. I know that. The representatives. From Pro were unable to. Trying to see what. If she had thrown a date, I know there was a conflict.
I think we're running significant. God.
Well, I know.
That would be fall break anyway.
Well, the other thing is that's also the annual conference in French Lick, so I know I won't be here that week.
It's all about Paul.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Well, can we do it?
What's our, yeah, the week before looks
For the
fine.
week after?
Week after, gonna be 28th, 14th or 28th, either one.
14th, yeah, I'd say the 14th or the 88th or the 28th. Just look, see if there was any. The rule on the TIF spending plan for 2026, that needs to be approved by December 1st. So it's really at your pleasure in terms of whether you're available on the 14th or the 28th.
I'm available either one.
Should be. Okay, let me check with the mayor and Tom in the morning. And see. Which will work best for them, and then I will email you to make sure that's okay, and I'll email Helen and Jamie as well, just to let them know once we know. I also want to double check with Pro to be sure that they're available.
Yeah, we kind of need them here.
For that as well. So you will hear from me via email tomorrow before noon.
Okay.
One other item that's not on the agenda that, what's that?
Yeah, they might.
Oh, you'll take care of it. We'll do that
I'll
all.
tell you what, if you wouldn't mind writing it on there, I would appreciate it.
What else we got?
One other item, at your meeting in October, the senior center project, which has money dedicated to the TIF spending plan for it. It is going to come in. The amount that was budgeted in the TIF spending plan, the project's going to come in under that. And what the mayor. We talked about discussing it tonight, but we didn't have enough details yet. They want to wait till they get the last couple of claims in, and then at your October meeting, the mayor and the parks director are probably gonna make a request to reallocate that money in the TIF spending plan from the senior center to be utilized to a category to allow them to utilize it to install the playground equipment. There's some ADA issues. They've got equipment to install down at League Stadium for the kids, a different type of service that would go in that. And what they're wanting to do is request of authorization to transfer some of that money from one senior center category to the other. Stays within the same department. Otherwise, they're just going to have to continue to sit on the equipment because they just do not physically have the money to install it right now. Yeah, it's currently fairly important because of the ADA. If you look at the padding that's down there now, you've got corners that are peeled up. It's not even close to meeting ADA compliance going forward, so they want to do something about it. But the mayor will be here at your meeting in October to discuss it.
It's already been purchased.
The equipment, some of the equipment's already been purchased. It was purchased. I don't know when it was they actually purchased it. I know it was under the previous parks superintendent, Dale. I don't know where that money came from, if that was part of their budget from last year or what, but. The other item is at the October meeting, we will have a preliminary. I thought we'd have it tonight. We don't have all the pieces yet. A preliminary TIF spending plan for 2026. We'll discuss that in general terms and round numbers at the meeting in October. And then the plan is to come to you on the November 18th meeting. And we'll get to you ahead of time so you have a chance to review it and hopefully adopt it at the November 18th meeting so that Tom has an opportunity to get it into gateway to the state or Department of Local Government Finance. That's all I have.
All right. Any other public input or anything from you guys?
Who's motion?
Angelica's motion. I'll be the second. All those in favor?